Hello and welcome to another horoscope for people born in December. Yes, I've given these readings a name of their own. Being a sociologist, we always make up new words, and this is mine, horoscopes. I'm Dr. Karen, and you're on Karen's Colours. If you've been here before, then you are very, very welcome back. If not, if this is your first time here, well, let's hope that I have something to offer you that will help you through the month of August 2026. For this month, I've decided to look at the Doreen Virtues Ascended Masters. Now, this particular oracle was created by a well-known tarot creator, and I thought that some of the things that she has to say in her Ascended Masters oracle might be a benefit to us. So, before we begin anything else, let's do a bit of shuffling, shall we? Now, as you know, I'm still not very good at this, but I am improving through a bit of practice. All right then, let's just choose from the middle in here and this one will do it. So let's get right into the color, shall we? Let's now look for some colors for people born in December to see how their August will develop. And the strength is purple on orange. The obstacle is red on green. And the underlying energy will be orange on grey. Well, what do we have here? Well, the strength indicates purple and orange. Now, purple and orange together are both colours to do with crisis. It's got to do with crisis management. It's got to do with dealing with not just the unexpected, but also sometimes the expected and how to manage to survive it. This is your strength. There is a need internally to show that you are courageous, you are strong, you are able to survive whatever is thrown at you. And that need comes through in the real world at being able to make changes. If things aren't going the way that you want them to, not according to your plans, then you are able to eliminate what doesn't serve you and instead replace it with what is more likely to be a benefit to you. That's a very healing thing. Purple is a color associated with healing in that it fixes up things that have been broken. And so this is your big strength. You have the confidence to fix what is broken, to make the changes that are necessary for the greater good. What then is the obstacle that you're facing in August? Well, here we have red over green. Green is the need for new space, for new experiences, for being able to get away from things that don't serve you anymore and find yourself in a new direction. It also demands of you a change of values, a change of heart. But this is the obstacle. And it's the obstacle because in the real world, when you are presented with an opportunity to change the way in which you feel or react or think about things, you come across as being quite angry, as being quite energetic and passionate about things to the extent that it actually frightens people off. Red and green are also the colours associated with stop and go. You know inside yourself that giving yourself the clear direction that, yes, you can do whatever you want to do, and in the real world, actually going ahead and doing just what you determine you want in the passionate moment of your decision making, you are in fact heading between stop and go all the time. And that is a very difficult situation to put yourself in, because as an obstacle, it means that you're often running out and doing things on the spur of the moment based on some value that you have inside, but that can change, and it can change quite rapidly. This combination is Robin Hood. That is, high values, and in the real world, the guts, the audacity, the passion to perhaps even risk life in order to maintain that value that you have internally. But as an obstacle, this means often it's more like Don Quixote, tilting at windmills. It's something you need to be rather careful of. So what does the underlying energy give us? Well, here we have orange on grey. Now, grey as an internal driver is all about trying to find that middle road. There's something that doesn't quite make sense, something that doesn't add up. You are caught between competing opinions, competing demands upon your energy. Everything in your life is at a stage where you are treading a fine line between what is something that is desirable and what is undesirable, between truth and lies, between what is hidden and what is open for everyone to see. And that urge internally to tread that middle road comes through in the real world as you're actually taking risks. Now, orange in the internal world, as you have here, is a demonstration of courage. You need to show that you are able to survive. Here, it's actually creating the activities and the experiences that cause you to have to survive. So let's have a look at what colours we have here in terms of how we interact with them. Well, there's no black, there's no white. You do have red, there's no yellow, there's green, there's no blue, there's no brown, but you do have orange, you have grey, you have purple, there's no pink, and there is no cyan. And we were just getting that orange from over there. And these 5 colours are the ones that you are dealing with in the month of August. So how do these interact? If we remove the underlying energy for a moment and simply put together the strength and the obstacle, it gives us some insight as to how it is that you tend to either enhance what's going on in your life or otherwise create an obstacle out of whatever it is that you have available to you. And we find this out by actually crossing over the underlying drivers. So now we have purple on green and red on orange. Purple on green, firstly. This need for new horizons, for changing values, for being able to recognize an opportunity when it comes your way, that need or drive comes from your obstacle. And when it's linked to your strength of being able to make changes, this often appears as a fairly good proposition. I want a new opportunity. I'm going to make whatever changes are necessary in order to take that opportunity. But because the green comes from your obstacle, it means that often you are jumping at chances, jumping at opportunities, taking leaps into directions that often can create catastrophic and irreparable issues for you. While purple as a strength comes through as healing, you don't have to fix things that aren't broken. And yet this combination of crossing over your obstacle driver with your strength ability means that you are finding yourself in a situation where you are jumping at something because it's there, and that in turn creates havoc with something that was there before, but now you have to fix, because by jumping at something different, you've actually wrecked what was here. Similarly, we have here an issue we have red on orange. Now, red and orange lie alongside each other on the color wheel. So they both are very, very high in energy component. The orange is all about confidence and courage and needing to show that you can survive. But the red is all about impulsiveness. So this is a very risky combination. And this is one of the reasons why you might find yourself in a situation where you are challenged and you take a chance based on a passionate decision, an instantaneous decision that might just cause you to spill some blood, because the red comes from the obstacle. Yes, you are able to survive it, but at what cost? Let's have a look at what happens when we put the underlying energy in as an intervening energy. And once again, firstly, we look at the underlying energy alongside the strength, and we cross over the drivers. Now we have purple over grey and orange over orange. Now, if you've been listening to me for a while, you'll know that orange on orange can have some severe problems for you. But because these are linked to your strengths, it means that in fact, this becomes a positive rather than a negative. But let's have a look at these first. Purple over grey. Grey internally, as you know from your underlying energy, is wanting to tread that middle road, not being prepared to fall down on choices on one side or another. You want to create a form of stability. But grey itself is fairly unstable because it's uncertain and it offers confusion. So the driver here is to try and get you out of that. And what you do in order to get out of that, in the real world, you find yourself doing the purple thing, that is fixing things. The grey internally says that things can be broken, that your experiences can put you into a state of confusion, a state of not being able to understand exactly what it is that you should do in terms of making choices. The purple says, don't worry about it, you can fix it even if it goes wrong. And wrong it will go. Orange on orange is the crisis combination. Yes, there is a need for courage and confidence in being able to survive, being sociable as well. And in the real world, there's lots of drama and crisis and survivability issues that require you to do exactly that, to be confident, to show that you are brave, that show that you have strength and that you can overcome whatever the issues are. And because this is the underlying energy that attaches to your strength, there is a good chance here that the orange on orange indicates you're going to have a jolly good time. Orange on orange, when it's a positive thing, is all about social life. It's all about having fun and being the life of the party. However, when we attach that underlying energy to the obstacle, we get a different picture. And now we have orange on green and red on grey. Now, orange and green have a traditional value that are associated with belief systems. The green internally is that you have a certain number of values, certain ways in which you look at life, and those values are very close to your heart, and you are determined that any changes that you make, any opportunities that are available to you, are always in alignment with those values. The thing is, though, it comes from your obstacle. So there's often a hint here of jealousy, of uncertainty in the face of not knowing exactly what it is that you want for yourself because you're too busy looking over the fence at what other people have got. And in the real world, that looking over the fence activity causes you to feel out of sorts. The orange externally is about creating a crisis. Green internally, there are things that you want, desire out of life. And in the real world, all it does is create for you conflict. And that conflict can be very, very disconcerting, particularly because you are linking it to the underlying energy. Particularly because you are linking it to the obstacle underlying drivers. On the other hand, we also have red on grey. Now, grey, as we know already, has to do with trying to find that middle path, trying to walk between competing interests and competing demands. In the real world, however, whenever you are faced with these, you make a rash decision, you decide what you're going to do, and you do that based on whatever passion happens to be grabbing you at the time. And that in turn creates more confusion, more uncertainty, more need to assert yourself because of the action that you have already taken. So here, the underlying energy linked to the obstacle creates for you an issue that comes out of uncertainty. But look what we have here. We have here traffic light. I want to go, but in the real world, I have to get ready to stop. I am stopped. Now I need to get ready to go. But where am I going? I don't know. This drives you in August to potentially make some fairly dangerous decisions. Because just as you had red and orange here mixed between your strength and your obstacle, and they are potentially going to cause you some strife. Whereas here the strife came from this need to create chaos. Here the chaos erupts, and your ability to either control it or to fight it comes down to how much are you prepared to risk? Because inside yourself, the underlying energy and the obstacle mean that you are gambling without knowing what you're doing. Let's have a look at the missing colours to see what they might offer us as other ways of doing things. Well, there's no black, there's no white, there's no yellow, there's no blue, or brown, or pink, or cyan. These 7 colours represent the skills and the abilities that you probably already have used in the past, but are not using throughout the month of August. How do you include them in your life? Well, as I go through them, please think about which of these is the most attractive or appealing, and which is the least attractive or least appealing. And when you have chosen those 2, add them into your life, because they will influence this underlying energy that in turn will impact upon your strength and your obstacle, and hopefully they will take you in a direction that will expand your abilities to overcome whatever this crisis is likely to be, or this risk that you are taking. So what do we have here? We have black. You need to withdraw, retreat for a while, take time out. Perhaps just simply allow things to settle down. With white, it's all about facing things head on. When daylight comes, you can see clearly, and you can also move in any direction that you choose. That is what white offers. Yellow offers you the opportunity to learn something, to remember what you had learned in the past, and to get on with acting on that information. Blue is about being responsible and dutiful and making sure that everything that you have taken on in terms of tasks and obligations are carried through. Brown is also about work, but this time it's about your ambitions and goals. What do you actually want to achieve in life? And how do you go about obtaining the skills that are necessary in order for you to obtain those objectives? Pink is about loving and caring and being compassionate. Are you doing this for yourself? Are you doing it for others? Are others reciprocating by returning your love and compassion? And cyan is about being able to create the sort of bliss and harmony and contentment that comes from knowing that there's nothing else you can do in order to facilitate change, and at the same time be still and content in that the universe is offering you whatever it is that you need in order to move forward. So let's now look at what the oracle gives us. Here we have Angus, the twin flame. Okay. What is the twin flame here? Well, if we look at these colors here, red and orange are the two colors that are associated with heat. And heat always comes with flame. So maybe, just maybe, it's time for you to consider just how much energy you're giving away. And at the same time, allow those two flames, the one from your obstacle and the one from the underlying energy, to combine with the flame that occurs, same color, that occurs in your strength, to facilitate the sorts of changes that bring you where you need to be. The choices are yours. Well, it certainly seems like August is going to be a rather transformative month for a lot of us. Maybe your month will be a little less challenging than the reading might suggest. But on the other hand, maybe challenge is exactly what you need at this time in order to help yourself out of the doldrums that have pretty much afflicted us for most of the year. So until I see you again in September for the next Colorscopes, may the colours of your life lead you in a direction that is for your own higher good. Catch you next time. Bye.